Countdown on the clock again. Feel like I'm playing in a game that I can never win. Time is running out, I know I gotta make a choice. So many whispers in my ear that I can't hear my voice. Tell me, will it end the situation that I'm in? Or am I bound to sit alone, drowning in my sin? Get right or get left, what will it be? Time is running out, the blood is flowing down the street.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loot Bros Podcast. I'm your host, Resident Daryl, and today I've got a jam-packed show for you. Tons of stuff to talk about, tons of stuff to share with you. So let's start this show off with a toast. I want to give a shout out to our Patreon producers. Thank you so much, JT. Thank you so much, MZ, F and Nitro. We appreciate you guys for sticking with us. Thank you to the rest of the patrons. All right, guys. Got a lot of noise in the background today. It is raining cats and dogs literally outside. And my doggos went outside. It got wet. Now they're tearing through the house. They got the zoomies. So just want to forewarn you guys. I'll mute as much as I can, edit out as much as I can. But you're probably going to hear the doggos. But that's all good. So check it out, guys. This is Loot Bros Podcast. This is your weekly gaming nonsense podcast. We're going to talk about some pickups today. We're going to talk about some recommendations. Hey, we're going to talk about a little bit of rumors and speculation. Some cool stuff coming out. Super excited about some of this stuff. A little bit of controversy. Yeah, some of the former Loot Bros co-hosts got a little bit of nonsense to say. But hey, throwing that shade out there for those boys because they're a bunch of little turds. So here we go. Now, I give a shout out to those guys. I want to give a shout out to the Houston Hunter ESG, the Houston for short podcast, the PlayStation 8 Dev podcast, and the Trophy Horse podcast, where a lot of the Loot Bros tryhards went to do their own thing, to spread their wings and to stretch their legs. So you want to give a shout out to those guys. Check out their shows if you have not. Some good stuff out there occasionally. I want to give a shout out to my buddy Tricky Mick for all the love and support that he's been throwing on the Trophy Horse for his boy, Resident Daryl. Okay. All right, that's all the nice things I have to say. So I want to get into the business, a little bit of housekeeping. Just before that, guys, new videos on the Resident Daryl YouTube channel each and every week we throw out. Try to throw out a long form video every week or so. I think we're going to go a little long on the wait for this one, but we throw out shorts every week. And the way we kind of do everything, this is our video game pickup channel. So we're always out game hunting. We're picking up stuff and showing it off on there. And we try to put at least a short out showing, hey, here's the stuff that we picked up recently. And a lot of this stuff makes its way onto Whatnot. You know, we use Whatnot as a live streaming auction platform to sell our video games, sell our movies, things of that nature. And you guys can get involved. If you ever want to go check it out, you look into the description for the podcast. There are links in there. You can get like $10 free money to go spend with any creator, any seller on the platform. But what we do is we go pick stuff up, show it off on YouTube, then we go run to Whatnot and we auction it off. And we keep the things that we need for our personal collection. That's something that the kids and I do over on Resident Daryl on YouTube. So if you've never checked it out, please go check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. There's a little bit of something on there for everybody. Our most recent short that we put out was actually not really, you couldn't see the video games really in it. I think you can see like one DS game. We got this giant U-Haul box filled with movies, CDs, some video games. There was a decent amount of video games in there. But mainly TV box sets and Blu-rays. So that stuff's usually pretty good movers for us over on Whatnot. So as a matter of fact, this show will go live Wednesday, March the 27th. And if you're listening to it on the 27th or the 28th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, going to be doing a Whatnot auction and possibly even an additional one that night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We'll see. Tentatively have one scheduled for then. We're going to be doing some video game stuff and possibly some movies, TV box sets, things of that nature. So go check it out. Use your $10, get you some free money, and enjoy yourself. So there you go. I want to give, actually, you know what, a little bit more shout outs. I'm gonna give a shout out to Gareth Davis, who does our annual rarity event for trophy hunting. He's been on there. He's been using Whatnot, and he's been finding some deals. And then I want to give a shout out to Red Beer Rick. Red Beer Rick not only has been using Whatnot, but then he's actually applied to start selling on Whatnot. So that's really, really awesome. Really excited for you, Rick. I wish you great success. So all of those things being said, let's jump into the show. Got a nice little stack of notes over here. Things for us to dig through. Maybe you guys will find some value in there. But first off, let's talk about what we've been playing. I was chatting with our good friend and patron, MZ Nitro, on some of the games that I've been playing this week. Not a ton, but the ones I have been playing have been fun and interesting. I'm going to start off with one. This one is The Complex. Okay, so The Complex is another one of those interactive movies. It is by a company called Wales Interactive. And give a shout out to old patron friend of the show, Jared. Jeez, couldn't get it out. Had a little mini stroke there. Jared and I share a common love for the Wales Interactive movies. And guys, essentially that's what they are. They're movies that you get to make choices in. Now, when they first kind of started off, the first handful of releases were a little more interactive, a little more old school puzzly, where you need to kind of go here, search here, do this thing. Now it's pretty much like, here's the movie. There are branching paths depending on the choice you make. And they're pretty cool. So right now I'm playing one of what I think is one of the better ones, The Complex. Now there's other companies that make these movies and then play these games, so it's really awesome. But I think The Complex is one of the better ones from Wales Interactive personally, and this one is about essentially a virus. They're actually, I think, nano machines, but we're going to call it a virus for easy talking point purposes. And it gets broken loose in this complex, in this little bunker, and this chick gets infected, starts this whole big thing, and you have to kind of figure out how this thing escaped. And the branching paths really do change the story. Like, the outcomes are wildly different, and it's pretty cool. Interesting game. I've played through this before. As a matter of fact, my wife and I, we played through this together at one point in time, and made all the decisions. And then when she fell asleep, I went through and played all the alternate endings and things of that nature. So I think your first playthrough is going to run you about 70-ish minutes. And then after that, 30 minutes, 40 minutes for the second playthrough. And then seemingly shorter and shorter all the way through your 9 or 10 playthroughs, essentially, is what you're going to do. But you can hit R1 and skip the scenes you've already seen and just solely watch the ones that you have not seen, that you haven't unlocked yet, if you're just trying to rush through it for the trophies. I don't recommend. I think the first 1 or 2 playthroughs, you should probably play through it and enjoy the story, enjoy the movie. But if you're here just to do trophies, well, hey, who am I to judge? Who am I to stop you? So it's an interesting little film, I guess is the best way to put it. It's an interesting little film. So I am currently knocking out the last 3 trophies that I have on this one, on this version. I've already platinumed the PS4 version, going for the PS5 platinum. And if you own the PS4 version, you get the PS5 version for free. That's not the case on all of their games or movies. So there's only a handful so far that we've discovered that we've gotten free PS5 upgrades. So be on the lookout for that one. Definitely something really cool to have. And it's just fun. So for me, I like to play these games on the Portal, sit back, relaxing in my recliner, just kind of making my decisions here and there. Currently, right now, as we are recording, I am playing through. I'm not using the Portal. The Portal's upstairs beside my bed. Right now, I have my PlayStation Backbone 1 and an old iPhone SE. So essentially, I have this iPhone to use strictly for Whatnot. When I stream on Whatnot, this is my streaming device for it. So I can still use my phone to contact people and respond to messages for work. That's how I am able to stream on Whatnot during lunch. I've got a second device solely for the platform. So, but I've also got my Remote Play app on there. And right now, I was like, you know what? I don't feel like going up there and getting the Portal. It can stay in its case, safe beside my bed. I'm going to grab the backbone and have at it. So it's a good time. All right, guys, next up on the list, the next game that I have been playing this week is Goat Simulator 3. So currently, the youngest, Paxton, and I are playing through Goat Simulator 3, trying to get all the trophies, trying to get the platinum, and I'm looking now. It is a 23.83% uncommon platinum, so not super rare, not super hard. Let's see what the guide says. I think the guide says 25 hours, 3 out of 10 difficulty. There's collectible trophies, and most everything is story related. And a lot of it is just doing all the things that pop up on your map. I mean, pretty straightforward stuff. I feel like it's a lot easier on this one than it is than the original Goat Sim, because Goat Sim had that Flappy Goat trophy, and it was freaking ridiculously... that was so annoyingly hard. So what I'm doing is I'm playing through it with Paxton. So this is one of those games that I could sit here right now as I'm podcasting and knock out the trophies, but that's something that he and I are doing together. And the game is dumb fun. Like, it is stupidly goofy. And it's just so funny. One of the things that happened in the game recently, like, you're looking at your map, right? And you get all these little question marks on your map, like you would in a Ubisoft style game, Grand Theft Auto. You think about any kind of open world game, which this one's very open world. And you get your objectives, you get your map. So you go to them, and it's like, which I think this is a lot easier than the last game, is you go to these little areas, and then you kind of look around. What's the task that they're asking you? What kind of makes sense to try to go for? Blah, blah, blah. Well, one of the pickups I found in there was a Captain America shield. Now, it's not called vibranium. It's called like fabritanium or something like that. Like, it's almost like, I got it like a fashion show, I think. And essentially, it mounts the Captain America shield on the goat's back, and you can launch it and hit stuff with it, and it'll bounce all around and come back to you. It's so stupid. I found rocket boots, a jetpack, angel wings, and all these things give you different upgrades and abilities and stuff. I found a pair of Easter Bunny ears, and the Easter Bunny ears lead me to where hidden Easter eggs are on the map. So it's stupid. It's funny. There's some Ninja Turtle stuff in there. I got a whole turtle outfit now. I actually just unlocked the ostrich, so I'm the two-legged ostrich goat, and it's just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Love it. So lots of cool stuff. There's Matrix references in there. There's Ninja Turtle references in there again. Like I said, Captain America. Yeah, just stupid stuff. It's fun. So definitely really enjoying the game. Highly recommend it if you're looking for something silly. It's a fun platinum. Lots of fun tasks to do. I don't want to say seemingly mindless, but it's a good time. So I enjoy it, and I think that it's definitely worth the pickup. Not to mention, I believe as of the day that this releases, we have just went into the spring sale for PlayStation, and this game goes on sale pretty regular, so it's possible that Goat Simulator is going to be part of the spring sale, because they're advertising, because we had early access to it if you're a PS Plus member, but they were advertising like there's going to be like 4,000 games on sale for this big spring sale. So we'll see what happens, but super excited to see where we end up with this. And lots of crazy stuff going to be on sale for the spring sale. So keep this in your wish list. If you're interested, go check it out. And I think I actually picked it up at GameStop on one of their big sales for like $10. So pretty wild. Definitely worth $10, worth $20. So stupid fun. I definitely enjoy it. So the last game I guess I'm going to talk about on the list today is going to be Hi-Fi Rush. Now, this is also going to kind of tie into our topic of the week, but I just want to kind of put it out there. All right. Hi-Fi Rush is available on PlayStation. Now, let's say, okay, you're listening to this show and you have never, You didn't realize that Xbox games were coming to PlayStation for whatever reason. That's why you just found the show for the first time, and you haven't been paying attention to a lot what's going on. So here's kind of a brief recap. There were a ton of rumors and speculations, which we'll get into later, that Xbox games were going to start coming to PlayStation. Okay, that there was a curated list, and that list is way longer than we expected it to be. But basically, after Xbox purchased not only Bethesda, but Activision, King, and Blizzard, that now they have to go third party to make their margins, okay? It is imperative for them to go third party. Remember that. We're coming back to that one. Okay, so that being said, 4 of these games from the list have been announced, and some of them have already started releasing. So, Hi-Fi Rush being one of them. So I pre-ordered Hi-Fi Rush. I played it a little bit on Game Pass. I'm not a huge Xbox player. Okay, used to be a huge Xbox player. That used to be my platform of choice, but I'm so invested in my trophies and my PlayStation ecosystem. I love my PlayStation controller. I love my hardware. Like, I like playing PlayStation. I'm a PlayStation guy, a Sony pony, a Jimmy Ryan apologist. Like, I openly admit that PlayStation is my favorite. Yeah, that's where I want to be. That's where I want to spend my time. Okay, it used to be Xbox. It used to be getting achievements. And I have just found myself really, really attracted to PlayStation since the PlayStation 3. And that's kind of where I reside for the most part. Now, I will play the Xbox. I own, right now, currently in my home, I've got an Xbox Series S. I've got multiple Xbox Ones, different versions. And I've got 5 Xbox 360s. So we still have a ton of Xbox in this house, okay? Now, some of that stuff is boxed up, ready to be traded off. And I will get an Xbox Series X as soon as the right deal comes across my desk. But the problem is, I don't typically play there. I acquire this stuff. I'll play for a few minutes. I don't finish games on there. And that's just me personally. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's no platinum trophies. And I'm so invested in that PlayStation ecosystem because of the trophies that I'm just kind of like, I really can't bring myself to investing too much time anywhere else. Even not stuff that doesn't have trophies and achievements. Like, and I know I catch a lot of heat, especially from the former co-hosts of the show, because that's not normal. And I get that. That's fine. But that's just the way I like to play. There's something inside me right now that frustrates me when I'm not acquiring trophies and achievements. I'm not building towards that meta game, that list. Okay, maybe it's because I'm broken. Totally willing to admit that. But that's kind of where I'm at. So, that being said, guys, I am working through my trophies and my achievements. My trophies on Hi-Fi Rush. And I'm really enjoying the game so far. It came over to PlayStation. I pre-ordered it because that's where I want to play. And now I am working on playing through it, and I'm really, really enjoying it. Now, I'm being very careful with it. I'm trying to play through it slowly, and I'm trying to play through it where I'm really taking my time, enjoying the game. I played through like the first hour or 2 of it on the Xbox on Game Pass, and I kind of skipped through the tutorials, and just kind of really didn't grasp the rhythm combat. I was just kind of like, I just want to get in here and hack and slash and whatever. It's not what the game is. It's a third person platforming action game, but it's rhythm based combat, and it's cool. It's cool. It's not super difficult. Like, if you just kind of run through the tutorials, you'll miss some stuff that's kind of important, but I'm sure it's still playable. I just didn't have a great time with it. So far, the boss fights are really awesome. The art style is like a very cartoony, almost anime, cel-shaded kind of look. It's anime-ish, like it's not overly anime, so it's actually kind of appeals to the American cartoon audience if you're into that kind of thing. And it's super cool. I really like it, and I'm really digging it. So, just thought I'd throw that out there, guys. It's really good, and I highly recommend it. I don't know that I'll go for the platinum. It doesn't look too difficult looking at the trophy list, but according to PlayStation profiles, PSN profiles, only 10 people have the platinum. So right now it's still ultra rare. And I'm not sure where the disconnect is. I guess, you have to beat the game on the hardest difficulty. You got to beat the game on Rhythm Master difficulty. That one looks pretty rare. Finding all the vlogs, that's not too bad. Let's see. Complete the Wall of Fame in the hideout, which means you got to find 138 graffiti pieces. That one actually, it seems to be the rarest of the trophies. So it looks like people have beat it on the hardest difficulty, but didn't find all the things on there. So that's interesting. So just kind of skimming through the trophy list, it looks pretty straightforward. I mean, it looks like beating it on the hardest difficulty might be the hardest one to do. We'll see. But I'm playing through it and I'm enjoying it. And actually, I was kind of playing through Crime Boss Rocket City as kind of my, this is the game I'm going to focus on. The other stuff I'm playing is just kind of for fun and mindlessness. And I have actually kind of put Hi-Fi Rush in front of it. I'll come back to Crime Boss Rocket City. I think Hi-Fi Rush is going to be my next main focus. So as far as this is my main game. So that was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it so far, and I highly recommend it. So we'll see what happens with the rest of the games that are coming to the PlayStation from the old Xbox crowd. We got Sea of Thieves still to come. It has set some records. Last I read, it was the most pre-ordered game on the platform. So hopefully it'll do gangbusters. And again, we're going to come back to this because that information right there that I just eked out, that's super important. Okay. Super, super important. So let's jump over into some pickups. All right. So this week is filled with pickups, way more pickups than let goes. I didn't sell near as much inventory this week. And, I picked up a lot of crap. So there's two things in particular I kind of want to point out. I've got two stacks beside me. So I'm going to start off with, I got a bunch of PSP and Vita stuff. So for all of you guys out there who know, I like to collect the PlayStation portable console. I like the Vita. So I have a handful of pickups. There's some whatnot and some in person. So I picked up a couple loose discs from a guy. He wasn't really wanting to budge too much on them. But I did pick up a copy, which I already have. Is it in Paradise or of Paradise? Kingdom in Paradise. Maybe it's of. I'm not sure. The lighting's kind of crappy where I'm at right now. So I picked that up on the PSP. I picked up a copy of The Replacement Killers. This is disc only on PSP. Super excited to have it. Now, anytime I can pick up loose PSP games, loose Vita games, I don't know why, but it really does I think it's super exciting. I do know why. Tell you guys a story. A long time ago, went to a flea market in Ladson, South Carolina. This is right outside Charleston Beach. And I go to this video game store that's inside this flea market, and it's like seemingly a mile long. It's so huge. It's crazy. And I go in, and these guys have laundry baskets filled with loose PSP games. And I was just like, this is crazy. I've never seen anything like this. I thought it was really cool. I go through, and I start digging. I'm just pulling stuff out. I'm like, well, how much is everything? I'm like, oh, no, we just look it up on price charting as you pull it out. And I was really turned off on their business model because I'm like, wait a second. You don't know what you have. You didn't take the time to market, but yet you want to charge full market value. That is, to me, a little insulting to the customer, because if you don't even know what you have, there's no way you tested it. Now let me back up for a second. There's nothing wrong with selling untested games. I sell them all the time, but I sell them with letting people know that hey, this is not tested, and when I test games, I usually play at least through the first level. There's been some, when I do a short or something, when I got only a minute, I got a minute to capture this. I'll, film something to the boot screen, or where the game loads, for example, I tested 5 Xbox 360s or 4 Xbox 360s back to back. And what I did was I just put in a copy of FIFA 14 that I knew worked, and I would just load it till it booted, film me turning it on, showing it off, boot to the thing. Cool. Move to the next one. And I'm trying to do this in 1 minute shorts. Okay. And with as minimal editing as possible, because I'm just trying to get the short out that, hey, I did acquire this and it did turn on. It does read a disc. Okay. Now, whenever I go to sell something on eBay or even whatnot, if it's fully tested, I will test it out. I'll play it to the first level or play into the first level. And I try to beat the first level. That's kind of the rule of thumb. Okay, but the problem with all of it is the amount of time it takes to do all that and the volume of games that I buy. So a lot of times I just sell untested, way below market value. Okay, because I'm not doing the work. I understand that the game might be perfect and it might sell at 100% market value. It might even sell over market value, depending on how hard it is to find a copy of it currently. But the way I justify not doing the work is I don't charge full value. As a matter of fact, I try to typically stay 30% below market value as much as possible, unless something's like completely pristine, no scratches, great case. I mean, it's a sliding scale. It varies. But I tend to sell things cheap and fast because I'm not spending the time doing the work. Because to me, there's more value in selling something faster for less money and not having to hook up the console, put in the disc, test it out completely. And when I do test stuff completely, 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to put it on eBay, let it just sit and get full value for it, or close to. Even on eBay, I list undervalue a lot of times. So, but that's kind of my headspace. That's kind of my business model, how I do things. So you do, yeah, sure. We're taking a risk. I'm taking a risk buying untested. I'm taking a risk selling untested. And once in a blue moon, something does go south. I mean, it is unfortunate, but I always try to make it right by people. Consoles break. I've tested consoles completely, played countless hours on them, turned around and sold them, and all of a sudden it doesn't want to read discs anymore. That crap happens. That's the risk you take doing this type of business because it is secondhand. Same thing goes with games. I've played games, and turned around, sold, traded the console or whatever, and then it's like, hey, the game's not reading on my console. Still reads on mine, just didn't read on yours. I don't know why. I can't explain it. So crap happens, but I try to do things right by people, and and when I look for doing business with people, I try to look for someone who's similar and like-minded. It's like, you mean to tell me you have literally like my sock basket at my house, you have it filled with video games that you didn't test, you don't even know what you have, and you're just going to pull it out and charge me price charting on it? And you did nothing? Nah, I think I'll pass. And that's typically how I do things. So moving on. So again, I picked up a couple loose PSP games. We're sticking with the PSP real quick. I did pick up a complete copy of the movie SWAT, which has Samuel Jackson, Colin Farrell, Michelle Rodriguez, and LL Cool J in there, which is super exciting. I haven't seen this movie in so long. It's been a long time. And I really enjoy picking up the UMD movies for PSP. I think they're super cool. Do I ever watch them? No, I don't. I couldn't tell you last time. I keep thinking about sticking a PSP over here and on a stand and just putting the movies in for the sake of doing it. But these definitely are collectible pieces for me. I picked up Coach Carter with Samuel Jackson. Okay. Haven't seen this movie since it came out. 2005. I haven't seen this movie since it came out in 2005. Am I going to watch it? No. But you know what? For $5, I got 2 of these films together, and I think it's awesome. I love having it. I love collecting them. So I added these 4 right here to the PSP collection. Now I have to double check to make sure. I know I've got Kingdom in Paradise or Kingdoms of Paradise. I don't know if I have a loose copy or just a complete in box copy, so I'll kind of see what I have, and then this will probably go in the for sale pile. Replacement Killers, I think I already have as well, but Coach Carter and SWAT I do not have, and they're complete, so I'm going to keep those. All right, moving over to the next wave of pickups. Now this is all Whatnot stuff, and for some reason I feel like I might have mentioned these before. But when I listened back to the episode, I didn't hear it, so I'm going to go with it. If you've already heard this, I do apologize. But we have some Japanese PSP stuff. So we've got Samurai Warriors or Dynasty Warriors 7. which is awesome. I didn't have that one before. We got Tokiden, not Kiwami, just Tokiden, just the Japanese import of Tokiden, which is like a Monster Hunter style game. We have it's the Japanese baseball. I always forget the name of it. 2016. Dog it. It's a very common name, but for whatever reason, I just can never remember what it's called. I'm looking now just to make sure it's not on there. No, anyways, we have Konami published baseball game 2016 on the PSP. Excuse me, PS Vita. We have Lego Star Wars. So super excited about that one. Didn't have Lego Star Wars. I didn't have a complete version of that one. Now, it is the Japanese version, which is fine because it does play on the PSP. All region free. We got Persona 4 Dancing All Night. I do own this, the American copy. I'm pretty positive. I think mine's on cartridge only though. I don't think I have the complete copy. So I'm going to most likely put that one in my collection. And then I got Danganronpa 1 and 2 Reload. So definitely keeping this one as well. I should sell it, but I've got the other Danganronpa games, and it's pretty awesome. So I think I actually have a cartridge version of this as well. So I might just sell my cartridge version and keep the complete version. So, but who knows? I can't be trusted when it comes to PSP and Vita because I'm more of a hoarder than I am a collector. Next up, I did get a copy of Attack on Titan, loose copy, cartridge only, for the PS Vita. I got Winning 11 2019. That is a horse racing game, Japanese import for the PS Vita. Shinobudo 2, PS Vita. We got... Let's see what else here. Project Diva F. I've sold that so many times. FIFA 15. Let's see. We got Ragnarok Ace and Ragnarok. I believe we have both versions of those. So either way, lots of PSP and PS Vita stuff. I actually bought some bundles. It was just like a couple loose cartridges together. So I'm not mad at that at all. Let's see. A total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 Vita games. So not bad. Not a bad little haul. I have 14 Vita games just sitting in front of me in a pile. So anytime I get to see that, I get excited. So, but that's the majority of the pickups. Now, next, I'm debating on should I save this for next week or not. Because I think what I'm going to end up doing is doing a full-on console review. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead. We'll dip into it. Some of the pickups for this week. We have a very pristine PlayStation Vita. This is the 1001 OLED model. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. This thing has no scratches on the screen. It's a little dirty. But like the barcode at the bottom looks great. Serial number at the bottom looks great. So it's exciting to have that. Anytime I can pick these up looking this good, I love to. Puts me back to 11 Vitas. I've sold 4 this year. So that's a big deal for me. I'm most likely going to sell this one. I'm going to have it listed, fully tested and listed on Thursday. That's the goal. But the biggest pickup of the week, and the thing that I'm probably the most excited about, even over the Vita stuff, is I got one of those Anbernic RG353V emulator machines. Or like they're like kind of built like a Game Boy, but this one has 2 sets of triggers on the back and 2 analog thumbsticks on the front. But this one, it's gray and purple like a Game Boy, like I said. It's just really awesome. It's a nice little machine. Runs Android 11. And it's just cool. Now, I haven't begun to really dig into what this thing can do. And I started putting some emulators on there yesterday, and I got to be honest, I'm not very smart. Like, this is where I learned my limitations on what I can do tech-wise. And even following a video, it's like, how do I miss steps to where I can't do this correctly? So, but I picked it up. It's really awesome. I got this entire deal. It was a stack of games, which I'll probably talk about the games next week. It was a stack of games, a PS Vita, and the Anbernic handheld for $150. Amazon is selling this Anbernic right now for $140. So I mean, that Vita will sell for $150 all day long. So not a bad pickup. Not bad at all. So I am super thrilled to have this in my collection. The Vita I'll sell. The Ambernick I'll keep. And I will game preserve myself into oblivion. And the whole reason I even wanted one of these, this was a very sought after piece. This is something I wanted to have, but wanted to catch it in the wild like I did. I wanted to catch it on a deal like I did. But I wanted to be able to play WWF No Mercy on the go. So that's what I really wanted. I wanted to play it on. I've seen people play it on this machine, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to play this game on the go. And I am super excited to have it. We're going to be doing some traveling soon. And having a Vita with me at all times is great. Having the Ambernick is going to be great. And just I can show my kids some of this stuff too. Having them play some of the stuff. The cool thing is I've got my modded Vita. Now I've got the Ambernick. So some of these games I can like the modded Vita, I got a 128 gig card essentially filled with PSP and Vita games. So I can put other emulators on there, and I could get a bigger card and I could do more work to it, or I can kind of leave that as the PSP and Vita machine. And then now that I have this, put everything else on there. So I do have a copy of Def Jam Fight for New York on there. It came with it on there, and that's pretty exciting. So yeah, super, super cool. Super, super thrilled to have it. I'm very happy with my purchase. And, hopefully we'll make us a little bit of money back to kind of cover the cost. So this one would essentially go into the collection for free. So those are the pickups for this week. So now picked up plenty more stuff, guys. Again, follow Resident Daryl on YouTube. Watch the shorts. If you want to see like just quick pickups that we didn't do full videos around. We got a new video dropping on the 28th of March. And, yeah, that one should be a good one. We got tons of videos, tons of footage in the can, more than I have time to edit. If we were a monetized money-making channel, I would hire an editor because there's just no way I can keep up with it. Not and have two jobs. It's just not possible. So, all right. We're gonna jump into recommendations last. We're gonna end with recommendations. Right now, I want to jump into what I was talking about earlier with the Xbox games, with some more rumors and speculation. So that's what this is. This is rumors and speculation, guys. None of this stuff has been confirmed. And I just want to throw some things out there to you guys. Maybe you'll think they're cool. Maybe you'll be like, no, this is stupid. Not really excited about it. But an article did surface this week, and it was from Push Square. And the headline says that Xbox is planning to release the, in quotes, majority of its exclusives on PS5. Now, a lot of speculation, and I'm gonna jump into the article here in a bit. A lot of speculation came because some YouTubers and some leakers and some enthusiasts came across some information a while back saying that Xbox had a curated list of games it was going to release on Switch and the PS5. So that led to a bunch of people reaching out to their sources, and then all kinds of information being thrown out there. Some of it hit, some of it missed. But it got a nice series of really exciting YouTube videos circulating that were fun to listen to, fun to watch, and the lots of speculation. I mean, and then so what happened was I got on here on the Loot Bros podcast and I said, hey guys, I'm listening to the Xbox guys, I'm listening to the PlayStation guys, I'm listening to all this stuff. Here's my opinion on what I would love to happen, and here's what I think would really happen. And so far, I was pretty correct as far as what I thought was realistically going to happen. You're only going to get a handful of these games at a time, and Xbox, head of Xbox, or head of actually Microsoft Gaming, Phil Spencer, said that we're going to put these 4 games out, these original 4 games, and then we're going to test the water and see how things go. They're going to learn from it, he said. Now, they lined up these games, and you would think, and that's what I said in the Loot Bros group amongst our co-hosts, I was like, you would think if this is a one and done, we're just going to do these 4, and then we're going to kind of maybe back off this project. that you would space them out over the course of the year. Maybe you get one, let's say we started this whole thing Q1, you know what I'm saying? So you get one in each quarter, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and then you'd say, okay, we had a year of dropping some of these, in quotes, lesser known, lesser valued exclusives over on our competitors' platforms. Here's how they did. Should we do this again? But no, guys. You're getting them within weeks of each other, okay? You're getting them within months of each other. Everything will be completely released over the course of just not even a full quarter. So the release dates for these games, for these 4 games, Pentiment came out February 22nd. Hi-Fi Rush came out March 19th. You've got Grounded coming out April 16th. And then you have Sea of Thieves coming out April 30th. Almost 2 weeks apart from each other. Just boom, 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 which I think is very awesome. I think that's a great way to garner information. You obviously put your more live servicey games towards the end. You let them build up pre-orders and you kind of gauge how much interest there are, okay? Pentiment being the smallest of these games. This is an Obsidian Entertainment game made by 1 or 2 guys. I mean, a very small team. You had Hi-Fi Rush, which was by Tango Gameworks, a Shinji Mikami joint. That was a sleeper hit, like a drop on Game Pass. And the verbiage and the words that Phil Spencer used were very much like, these were never really supposed to be exclusive, big time exclusive anyway, so let's go ahead and put them other places. What it is, they need to make money, guys. They got to make money. Doesn't matter how profitable they are. They got to make money. They can't just lose money all the time, okay? And the way that they've operated Game Pass might make enough money to make it profitable, maybe to get some licenses and stuff, but it doesn't cover development costs. It can't cover it. The money doesn't add up. The numbers they just don't add up. That math don't math, as they say. As a matter of fact, during the Activision Blizzard King merger, a lot of emails and things were released. And there was a comment on there about people worrying that their studios were going to close. And Phil Spencer said that they've never closed a studio based off of a P&L. If you don't know what a P&L is, guys, that's a profit and loss statement. So they've never closed a studio because they were losing money and they weren't super profitable. When their goal right now is content, put content on Game Pass, make Game Pass grow, make Game Pass their platform moving forward. All good. That's fine. No argument for me. I don't see how you sustain it unless you sell your game somewhere else, a la PSP. Not PSP. Geez, what? I'm looking at a PSP game, and I was going to say PC. I'm leaving that in there. Yeah, all right. So you're going to have to sell your games on PC. You're going to have to sell your games on PlayStation. You're going to have to sell your games on the Switch. Now, games like Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, my opinion, you would kill it on the Switch. Like, release some physical versions on the Switch. Those would be highly collectible, highly sought after. I think that, that's a no-brainer. The Switch is huge. It is a mammoth. And you get full value for your games. Okay? I think a game like Hi-Fi Rush is perfect for PlayStation. I think it's a third-person action with some platforming. It probably has more platforming than I actually enjoy. It's a little annoying. But very akin to like a Ratchet and Clank style game. That is perfect for PlayStation, guys. So Sea of Thieves being your live service game, it makes perfect sense. Okay. By the way, Hi-Fi Rush was not released on Switch. I think it belongs there, but I'm just throwing that out there. All right. But I think that you put Sea of Thieves out. That's your live service game. You want everyone playing that. And you want that one to be cross-play, cross-contaminated, cross-save, all the stuff. You definitely want that. That needs to happen. From a business decision. I think if PlayStation had their live service game, it should probably come over too. It should be playable everywhere. Like, look at Helldivers. Helldivers, it's great that it's exclusive. It's great that it's only playable PC and PlayStation. It is killing the game over there. But it could be even bigger if it was on Xbox and Switch. I mean, Switch can't handle it, but you see what I'm saying. The idea is you just have more people playing your game. So that's the way it needs to be. I think personally, live service games should be across because you need the player base or the games die. So now, if you do a staggered release, like you release it on PS5 and PC, so now you've got your 8 million-ish players or whatever, how many copies it sold. It was something in that number. Okay, that's really good. And then as it starts to die down, you do a big content drop and you go, by the way, it's on Xbox now, you know. And then as it dies down, you go, oh, do a big content drop. By the way, it's playable in the Switch too. Those kind of things make sense because it gives your game new legs. Okay. So we'll see how Sea of Thieves and Grounded do. Grounded, again, is another, I believe, live servicey game. I never played Grounded. I don't know enough about it. It was in beta for forever. And it was I believe it's a first-person survival style game. So I know the least about Grounded out of the 4 games that they've announced. But here's my point, though. Okay, and this is kind of like taking an argument inside the Loot Bros Facebook group and the Loot Bros Messenger group and then kind of putting it on the podcast and putting it on blast. But the idea is this, is that everyone, and I'm going to go back and quote the PlayStation 8 Dad podcast with our former co-host, Matt G. and Will. Everyone did blow things out of proportion because they thought that the floodgates were going to be opened initially. Xbox got in front of it, played damage control, had a little business update. Okay. But they use specific language where it's like, yeah, we're definitely going to test this out. And who's to say more games won't come? Doesn't mean we're going to, because we put one game on there, we're going to put them all on there. Yeah, temper your expectations. All that is completely fine and understandable. But the fact remains that they didn't stagger them across the year to see how they would do. They did them boom, 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 back to back to back from end of February to middle of April. You're going to get 4 games from Xbox Studios. Okay, Obsidian is one of the first party gurus. This isn't a Bethesda. This is our publishing arm. Bethesda isn't under Microsoft Studios specifically. Okay, this is Obsidian. This is first party. Okay, Tango is a Bethesda joint. Rare is a first party. These are under Xbox, Microsoft Studio brands. So the fact that 3 of the 4 games came from first party tells me that is okay. It is on limits, and that is on brand for them moving forward. And I'm just telling you guys, I expect to see more this year. I'm going to be as bold to say I expect to see 4 more this year. I think these are going to go over very well. We'll know summertime when it comes to the Xbox showcase, when they do their E3 style presentation. I think we're going to have more games announced by then. If not, they will be announced then to come to PlayStation. Now, I want to cut back over to this rumor, this thing put out on Push Square, okay? So this is coming out of GDC. We just had the Game Developers Conference, and there are some quotes going around by a couple of different guys. One from GameIndustry.biz, well-connected Christopher Dring, D-R-I-N-G, says there's much more to come. From what I understand, the majority of Xbox first-party games will be coming to PlayStation at some point, assuming it progresses as Xbox believes it probably will, he said on his most recent podcast. I think the Xbox is in real trouble as a hardware manufacturer, and that was the thing that came out of GDC for me. Now, what he's saying right here, guys, is that while he was at GDC, meeting with the game devs, meeting with people that are connected in the know, the notion he got was that the hardware is stagnant and not moving. We know that. We know the numbers are not even close. Okay. And that's fine because they've pivoted from their focus being on hardware to service. That's Microsoft. They're just doing what Microsoft does. That's fine. They said they're going to continue to make hardware. That's all that we ever really wanted as fans of Xbox. We just keep making hardware. It may not be for everybody. That's fine. Phil Spencer said they're not going to out console Sony. That's fine. Okay, just as long as you keep making, just as long as you stay in the fight, as long as it's viable enough for you to stay in the fight. We understand that you can't if you're not making money, you can't stay. And even a company like Microsoft doesn't want to lose money. They're not in the business of losing money. So the idea would be that they stay in the fight. They continue to put out consoles. They continue to put out great first-party games. They go to Game Pass, and then over time, their old stuff comes to PlayStation, so it sells and gets a second lease on life. And I think that is completely reasonable and understandable. So what I want to put out there into the internets, guys, what I want to put out there into the Loot Bros community, and I want your feedback, all right, is I want to know what you think. Do you think we're going to get more Xbox games? I mean, this is, again, coming from someone who's well-connected in the industry, all right? coming out of GDC where people are all there talking about, hey, this is what I do. You guys know how it is. When you're in your industry, when you're in your field of expertise, you talk about it. All right. When I built weightlifting equipment, I talked to people about building weightlifting equipment. We had conversations about the business, what's working, what's not working. When I would go to trade shows, we'd talk about our hardware, the actual machines that we use that make our equipment. What's working, what's not working. Who's it hard to get parts for? Who has terrible service? These are things you talk about. So just translate whatever field you work in. Like my wife's a nurse. All her nursing friends, they talk about nursing. They talk about what's coming down the pipe, how things have been. Is it busy? Is it slow? Is this procedure good? Is this thing bad? Is this thing happening? Here in the mortgage industry, we're talking right now about how inflation and freaking high interest rates are making it harder to buy homes. It's like business is slim pickings for some of us. Some of us are killing the game. That they never slowed down. Didn't matter what the market did. So we have these conversations in our industries every single day. We have these conversations in our industries, in our fandom every single day, right? But all of a sudden, people act like this is foreign news. Like this is all rumor and speculation. Yeah, of course it is. It's a rumor. Yes, this is a person telling a rumor based on the information they garnered from talking about the industry they work in with people who work in the industry. It's not like some random YouTuber was just like, hey, I got this hunch. This is what's going to happen. Okay? So, but it kind of makes sense, right? Like we were told way before Xbox did damage control that more was coming. Gears of War has been on the table. I've called it, guys. I'm telling you, Gears of War is coming to PlayStation. There was already a PlayStation 3 build of it. This was going to come to PlayStation a long time ago. I believe IGN has a video of them playing a build of Gears of War 3. I feel like Colin Moriarty's mentioned that more than once. There's a build of Halo on DS. Like these things were going to happen a long time ago. Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, said the only reason they do exclusives is because Sony does exclusives. That's a fact. That's a quote. They don't even like it. So here's the thing. I think it's coming. I don't know that it's coming this year, but I think it'll be announced this year. I think before the next big Gears of War, we're going to get a Gears of War collection. Okay, so a Master Chief style collection of Gears of War games. And I think that when that comes out, it will come out for everyone. I think that we're going to get the compilation on PC, on Xbox, on PlayStation, and it's going to be awesome. So my hope, my heart is that Gears of War does come to PlayStation because I want to play it again. I want to get the trophies for it. I think that's a great place for it. Third person over the shoulder action. So gangbusters. I would love for the Master Chief Collection to come over to PlayStation. I'd love for it to be cross-play, for me to be able to play my PlayStation 5, playing Halo, playing Gears online against my brother on PC. That would be dope. We'll see. Who knows? Right now. All rumors and speculation for now. But it does seem like we're going to get more and more of this. I think now that GDC, the dust has settled, the people are done screaming into the parking lot about how the industry has wronged them. I'm hoping Hi-Fi Rush did well. It doesn't look like from PlayStation profiles that it did all that great. I mean, just using that as an example, the game's been out for a week and you got, let's see how many owners, of 1,345 owners on PlayStation. So that's, again, this is an opt-in site that only monitors 2 million gamers out of the however many hundreds of millions of PlayStation gamers are out there. So it's a drop in the bucket, but I figured the trophy hunters alone would have at least put this thing up there. So we'll see. Just do your part, guys. Buy your Xbox games on PlayStation so you can continue to get Xbox games on PlayStation. That's what makes sense. If you're not going to buy an Xbox and play there, buy the games over here. Play over here. Let's make it fun. Let's make it exciting. There's some of us out there, guys, that are never going to cross the streams. You're born PlayStation. You're going to die PlayStation, and that's fine. For the Xbox cats out there, who are like that, you only play your Xbox games. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with it. For your Switch guys out there, you got to get with the program. Get you a PlayStation. Get you an Xbox if you play on Switch. You ain't even seen real good graphics yet because they booty over there. But now, real talk, guys. I'm excited about it. We'll see what happens. I did want to throw this out there, a little bit of a rub, a little bit of a shout out. I saw this morning. The superhero MMO DC Universe Online has a native PS5 version now, so we can lag on PS5 the same way we lagged on PS4 and good God on PS3. I'm going to download this. I'm going to give it another shot. I have to this day never beaten this game, never gotten the trophies for it. But it's got 123 trophies, so it's pretty wild. I really enjoyed. I played this game for hours and hours and hours on PS3. I would wait 20 minutes for it to load in just for me to, but I thought this game was really cool. So I'm going to load in again. This will be my third time. I'm going to try it. We'll see what happens. It'd be awesome to find some people to carry me through, because I believe there used to be people who stood outside the missions in the last version and would carry you through it. So let's just go. That was the first ever live service game I ever experienced where they did a Christmas update. So there was like snow and Christmas hats and Christmas wreaths and stuff all decorated in the game during Christmas time one year. Blew my mind. I was like, I can't believe that's crazy. That's crazy. I can't believe that happens. So, all right, guys, I'm going to end with a recommendation. All right. So this recommendation is actually based off of a pickup I had this week. I haven't watched many movies this past week. I have a few actually pulled out to watch. And I haven't listened to any music outside of what I talked about last week. I've been listening to the same couple albums over and over and over again. But what I did want to jump into, I picked up a season 1 of Prison Break. And I don't know if you've ever seen the show Prison Break, but it is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Episodic television. Love it. It is so good. It was one of the first television shows I ever binge watched where it was 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, just one more episode. Like there's a scene towards the end of season 1 that rolls into season 2 that had my heart racing while I watched it. And I couldn't believe I was so invested in this TV show, but amazing characters, great acting. Especially the early stuff, like that season 1 was so special. I think that it's just freaking stellar. So I picked up season 1. I'm actually going to, I'm personally collecting the X-Files seasons and the Prison Break seasons. And so Prison Break is one that my wife and I really enjoyed together, and we're going to go back and rewatch. So I highly recommend picking up Prison Break or watching it. I don't know if it's on a streaming service anywhere. I didn't even look. I know we watched it on Netflix back in the day when Netflix first got popular. And so, it's, you got to get it. You got to check it out. Really great. Excellent show. Content was, there's implications in there. There's some weird, whack, gross stuff in there, but it's not like Oz or anything where it's actually in prison showing you wieners and things. Like it's all implied. It's, daytime television stuff, but man, it's so good. And dude, the actors are just, Wentworth Miller just freaking slays him. And God, dude, that freaking show. Teabag, friggin' it's so good. You gotta watch it. So many great references came from that show, and so much just, it was great entertainment. So check it out, Prison Break. I'm gonna be watching season 1 here very shortly, and I would encourage you guys to do the same. And one last pickup. This one, I redeemed it as we were talking. This is from TrueTrophies.com, which a bunch of Loot Bros hosts sent me this. It says that PlayStation Stars, their rewards program, their latest reward, celebrates Sony's continuous CEO. That's right. If you play a game that Jim Ryan, good old worldwide franchise, Jimmy Ryan, he who makes us whole. If you pick up and play a game that he championed, all right, you get the Fond Farewell Jimmy Ryan bobblehead collectible for the PlayStation Stars rewards program. Okay, now, what do you got to do to get it? You go onto the PlayStation Stars, or go to your PlayStation app, go to the Stars, start the campaign, Fond Farewell, and then all you got to do is play Destiny 2. You got to play Spider-Man, God of War Ragnarok, one of the games that he championed. Okay? And I think that it's a really nice little piece, a little nod to him, plugging into the Stars thing that he kind of championed as well. But I think that this really does go to further show you guys that Jimmy Ryan was not fired. You don't get a Jimmy Ryan bobblehead because you were fired from PlayStation. All right, guys? So just drop it. Let it go. You don't see a Sean Layden or Jack Trenton bobbleheads. Okay, you got a Jimmy Ryan bobblehead. I got mine today. I played some Spider-Man last night. I didn't actually do anything in it. I loaded it up and started playing. But I needed to do some side missions, and I didn't want to wear my headphones because my head was bothering me, and my wife was watching trash reality TV, so I chose not to. I just decided, you know what? I'll play this later, and it was a lot of coming from my controller, which is also, I love that stuff, but I know it was annoying her watching her show. So I ended up just turning it off and playing Goat Simulator, and I didn't actually do anything in Goat Simulator last night. I just ran around and just did dumb stuff. So get your Jimmy Ryan bobblehead, guys. Appreciate all of you for listening to the show. Thank you so much for all of your support. We'll catch you guys on the next one. And always remember, Jimmy Ryan was good to you, and anime is for pervs.
Is the Lord. He made us in his own image, yet loving formed us from the dust. Behold the glory of the one who sits upon the throne. The Lord's, yet everything in it, for out of nothing He created all life. Yeah, it's alive. Yeah, everything in it, for out of nothing He created all life. So what shall we say? That men are without excuse for what's been made. God has revealed himself without excuse. The Lord commands the valleys be cast down, the mountains rise, the mountains shine. Are you so question good? Your doubt is wise, as if you made yourself. No man, you are right.
And they say there is no